Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for the following video. Now this video is not intended to be anything negative about my dealership experience because I really like the guys down there. They're very helpful and they try their best to make sure that things get done properly. This video is all about Subaru and what can happen to a Subaru customer, or really any manufacturer's customer, if parts are installed in the car that aren't 100% good. And in my case, this is tail lights. So thanks for joining me for the following video. Hey everybody, Dave Williamson, Toy Car Collector. I don't know if how many intros I got for this video, but here I am in the front seat of my beautiful 2019 Subaru Ascent. Now it's not perfect, I've had some problems, but you know the reason I'm making this video is I just want to let Subaru know that when you get a bad part, it can lead to a lot of stress and a lot of suffering for your customer and the dealer too, because you know, every time you go into the shop, there's no guarantee everything's going to come out perfectly. And man, I tell you what, I'm a guy who has a lot of luck. I mean, I'm just one lucky son of a gun, but not all that luck is good. Some of that luck is bad. And so here I am with my beautiful Subaru. It's finally back from the shop after being in there for 2 weeks. But let me tell you the story of what's happened with my Subaru in the 9 months that we have owned it. All right, here we go. Hey everybody, Dave Williamson, Toy Car Collector here, sitting in my beautiful 2019 Subaru Ascent. Now I do have a story for you today about my beautiful Subaru Ascent, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it was a brand new model, never made before. We pre-ordered it 6 months in advance, and I wouldn't recommend that because man, I was anxious for 6 months and it was not good for my health. But we finally got the car and I love it. Katie's not so crazy about it because it's a lot of technical devices in here and a lot of things to pay attention to, but I really love the car. It's beautiful. It's got wood, simulated wood finish. It's got pretty leather colors. It's just a beautiful car inside. It's a top of the line Subaru Ascent 2019. Now let me tell you some of the things that go wrong when you buy a car that's completely brand new and not been on the market before. So right off the bat, with 1,000 miles on the car, all of the eyesight, the safety functions that help you to see what's ahead of you, side to side lane avoidance, all that kind of stuff, I don't even really understand it that well, it all just shut down one day and wouldn't come back on for like a day. And so I took it into the shop and it was there for about 3 days. They couldn't find anything wrong with it. They gave it back to me. Then about 1,400 miles, it did it again. I took it into the shop again. This time they had the representative from Subaru come by, and that representative said that, you know what we need to do on that brand new car of yours is we need to take the entire front end off the car and take all the wiring out from underneath the hood and replace it with new wiring all underneath the hood. And I thought about that for a few days, and I went in to tell them, you know, there's no way you're taking my car apart like that and changing all those wires, because it's only got 1,400 miles on it. And by that time they decided, you know what, why don't we just wait and see, and we'll see what happens, and probably there'll be a software update or something like that. Anyway, in the meantime, now it has like 4,500 miles on it. It's happened a couple of other times, but only for just a short period of time. But there's been no word about a software update or anything like that, so I don't know if the problem's just gone away or if it's just going to come back another day. So that was one problem I had with the car. All right, another problem I've had with the car is the radio. Sometimes it'll just not, there'll be no sound. It looks like it's working, everything looks like it's running, there'd just be no sound. Now what happens then is you go down to the dealer, they disconnect the battery, hook up some sort of capacitor, discharge the system, put it back together, and it works again. It's done that twice, and fortunately it hasn't come back for a few months, so that's fine. All right, so that's about all I had for electrical problems, but then I had some physical problems. What do I call it? Cosmetics. Let's go over here and take a look. Go. Okay, now for some of the frustrating things that really happened on really minor, what started out to be really minor details. So this panel over here on the side of the car, it's about 4 feet long. It goes all the way from here, all the way to the back of the door there, and it's quite extensive. It's very decorative. It's got the rear air conditioning in it. It's got a speaker. It's got USBs. Anyway, one of the panel clips here came undone, and it was just hanging out here about a ½ inch. So I went down to the shop, and they said, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll take that out." So in order to get this out, they had to take everything out of the back, including the third row seats. So basically everything cleared out of the back of the car to get this panel out. So they got the panel out, got a new panel to put in. I went down the next morning to check on the progress, and it turned out that the panel they were putting in also was damaged. So they put everything back in the car, and then 3 weeks went by. I went back and they put in the new panel again. Now the new panel, it looks great, except it does have a white line that goes down through here. It's right about here. There's a white line that goes down through here. And the funny thing is I had a courtesy car for a repair in the last couple of weeks. It also had the white line right down through here. So it's a known defect in the car. It's not a big deal, but when your light shines just right on it, you can see like a big white line. It goes from down here up to about there. And so that was that, and that wasn't so bad. Then the next thing that happened is I noticed that my tail lights were getting water in them, moistening up and getting, you know, the little bubbles of water inside. Now, let's get outside of the car and look at those. So here's where ownership of a new car really gets frustrating. And it's not necessarily, you know, Subaru's a great car company, they really are, but you know, not everything's perfect. So I find out that both of my rear taillights on the door here are leaking water, getting water inside. So I arranged to have those replaced. They ordered in some new taillights while I was in the shop. And again, I love my dealer, the guys are great down there, really nice to work with, very apologetic. But you know, things happen when you take your car into the shop. Not everything good is good in the shop. So I take my car in to have these lights replaced, and come on over here too. All right, so I take it in to have both of the taillights replaced, and lo and behold, when I get it back, there's a dimple, 3 dimples in the metal here, and scratches all over here. And I see you're doing a close-up of that. So anyway, I go back and they're very apologetic and they say they'll take care of that and fix it. It turns out that at the time they replaced these taillights, they didn't know exactly how to take the taillights out because there's no instructions given to them by Subaru yet. So they had to just, you know, put somebody on the job that thought they knew how to do it properly, and they ended up using like a wedge to wedge out the parts, because I think they had to take this part out to get this part out to replace the tail light. So anyway, they damaged this area here. Now it still has scratches on it, but they were able to take it in and have Dentless Repair remove the 3 dimples in the metal here, but they weren't able to get the scratches out of the car here. So and then while they were in fixing this problem here with this damage, they damaged the other side of the car over here. I come over here. So while the car was in the shop for that repair, they put a big crease about 8 inches long right here in the body. It goes from, you won't be able to see it on the camera, but I can still see it. It goes from about here to about here. And there was a big rub here, this was rubbed. And so they were like very apologetic, and they said, no problem, we'll fix that for you. So now they had a car for a week to fix that crease and repaint the door. So I come back a week later to see how it went, and actually you could still see the crease, and there were 4 very noticeable large dimples in the paint. So they said, no problem, we'll take care of that. So this time they had the car, and this all started because the taillights were bad. None of this would have happened if the taillights were not bad. So now they said, okay, well, we'll fix that, but this time not only will we have to redo the door and repaint the door, but we'll have to repaint the back quarter panel of the car as well. So now they had the car for a total of 2 weeks to fix the damage that occurred because my taillights were bad. And so now I got the car back. Paintwork actually looks good now. It looks very good. However, there's overspray all over the car. There's overspray on the windows, on both sides. The driver's mirror is unusable because it has so much overspray on it. There's overspray on the roof, on the back window, on some of the chrome work. And now I got to take it in again to get all that cleared up. And there's also overspray on the inside of the car, and the inside of the car smells like paint. A really, really nasty smell. Yesterday we could barely stand it. We took the car out a bit and we just couldn't stand the smell. It's so bad in there. It needs to be. I don't know how they get rid of smells like that. You have any idea, Derek?
No clue.
Idea. All right, so that's where we are with our Subaru so far. Again, it's a beautiful car. Look at it. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. Crimson red, brown leather. Look at that. Brown leather in there. Isn't that gorgeous? Rear captain's chairs. Wood on the... What a beautiful, beautiful car. Okay, here I am at the front of the car. I just wanted to tell you, whenever there's a problem with a car, and really a problem for no reason. Now, the warranty covers you in case there's problems with the parts on the car, but to have little stupid things like taillights or wiring or electrical systems going haywire, I don't know, that just seems crazy. And then you send it down to the dealer, and no matter, they're great guys and everything, but they don't have an answer for anything because it's a brand new car. They never made it before. And then when they were working on the car and it had the electrical problems, then they damaged the intercooler and had to replace the intercooler. I don't know what that cost. That's got to be $1,000 easy, and so, if you might notice, I got the battery charger on here because I got it back from the body shop, and this morning the battery was completely dead. I don't know how a battery goes completely dead. I mean, there's nothing running in the car, but it's completely dead. I got the charger on here now. Should take about the half of the day to get it charged back up. Really see it on here. It's all over this. Very heavy here. It looks a little better back here, but definitely up here. The roof, there's a haze, a big heavy haze around here, some tape residue. And then there's a haze that goes across the roof line about there. Can't really tell about the rest of the roof. I think it's alright. But it's definitely heavy in here. I don't know if you can see it here, but the haze goes here and then all across the corner there for sure. I don't know what's that. See this? There's overspray all over the window here. And it kind of goes, I don't see it over here, I see it from here over to here. Mainly, I'm not sure. There's little sparkles all over the window, but the haze is here. You can see it. Here it is, Friday, May 3rd, and yesterday, Thursday, I spent about 3 hours at the body shop getting some of the overspray cleaned off and whatnot. One of the things that happens, again, everything in this video happened because Subaru produced poor quality taillights, which had to be replaced and led to a massive string of sad events for me as a customer. Here, this mirror was completely fogged up around the edges, especially from overspray. It got cleaned off, but now it's scratched throughout, and plus here's a big section of scratches here, so it's going to need to be replaced. And this piece has fallen out of the back of the mirror because it got so much tweaking done to it to get the overspray off. And then my wing windows, which I just put on about 2 weeks prior to this damage, are now all fogged up and scratched up from all of the rubbing off of the overspray. The stereo, which was polished out a bit, still has overspray across the top here, so it's going to need to be polished some more. And I'm not sure if the polishing has ruined the finish of the stereo or not. And there's still a little overspray on the dash, but it's really hard to get it off, so it may just have to wear off in time. Because these got so badly damaged in the body shop, I'm just taking the things off. Here's what they're going to end up like. This is how they're going to end up. And one of the things about these wing windows is they have these a metal clip here and a metal clip down here. So once they're removed, even if you remove them gently, there's scratches here and scratches here and here from the clips of my otherwise beautiful car. Now, how much of the car was painted? Let me tell you. Let's see, passenger side, of course. Starting here, all the way up here, all the way down here, all the way through here, window replaced, all painted here, all painted here, just because there was a crease down here that went from here to here. So why am I taking these off? I tell you, because they're so damaged, I can't stop looking at them as I drive down the road to see the different areas of scratches and paint overspray. And so now I'm taking them off, which is a real son of a gun, and leave scratches. And now I've got a dent in here in the chrome trim because I'm taking these things off. Taking them off ends up, it looks like the clips that they put on here messes up the rubber trim, and then I've also cut myself because they break and as you're taking them off in pieces. It's a real pain in the butt. I wouldn't recommend you never ever put these things on there because they don't want to come off when they get damaged. And over time, I've only had mine on for 2 weeks, but because of all the paint work, they've gotten scratches all over them. But eventually, just from car washing, they're going to get all scratched up, and then they become completely useless because they block out your vision. Not to mention that this pillar over here is already so large that when you put the wing window on here, it gives you another 2 or 3 inches of blind spot. I almost missed a pedestrian in my blind spot from having these on, and I had considered taking them off right after I put them on. But anyway, now I'm going to need to replace this chrome strip up here. Here's what the chrome window trim looks like once you take the vent visors off. Here, and here, and here. And up here on this piece it's not so bad, but it is definitely scratched. Alright, this is how they end up. This one didn't come off good at all. One side did come off. Okay, that one broke. Alright, check this out. This is what happens. Again, because Subaru put defective taillights on my car, and during the repair process things can go wrong, and they did in this case. Look at all this. This is what they had to do to repair the crease that was put in my door accidentally by the shop. And again, I don't blame the shop. I blame Subaru for the defective taillights. So in order to repair the door of my car, they had to remove, looks like the head airbag. They had to get up underneath the roof in order to loosen up the roof rack so that they could raise it up to paint the door edge or the top of the roof so there would be one continuous paint. Look at all this. Hours and hours, door shells and water. This is even the front door, which they didn't even work on. I don't know what they were doing there. Rear door, door shell, clear coat, belt molding. Look at all this. Wheel flares, quarter panel glass, rear, replace and remove rear tail light. Estimate $1,845. I thought it was more than that, actually. I thought it was $2,800. Labor rate was pretty cheap because they charged it to the, yeah, that's why this number is small, because they charged it to the service department. I don't think you can get $54 an hour rate. That's interesting. I think it would be a lot more than that. But they did do all this stuff in order to fix the door. And it was an internal charge. Very interesting. Here's another interesting little bit of news. These are all the times that I've been in for service so far. And this does not include, I picked up the car on 7-Eleven, and from 7-Eleven to 9 something or other, maybe 9-5, the dealership was owned by a different company, so those are not included. Those service events were not included in this particular show. So we've got, let's see, 1 day here, we got a week there, 1 day there, 1 day there, 2 days there, 4 days there, and then this last deal was 10 days. So we got 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, that's, what is that? Let's see, 1 and 7. We got 1 here, and 8 here, and 1 here, 1 here, 2 here, 4 here, and 10 here, something like that. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 19 and 8 is 27 days from the new owners in the shop. And then between 7-Eleven and 9-5, I was in for at least a week. So I'm way over a month of being in service, even though I've only driven the car 4,500 miles and had the car since July 11th. It really sucks. It really sucks sometimes to buy a new car. Very expensive and time consuming. All of these cost me about a half day's worth of work as well. Very, very sad. Very upset with Subaru.